What's going on, everyone? It's the next day out here. Got done moving bales yesterday. Today I'm kind of doing something that we don't really do too much around here anymore. I am row cultivating corn. Now the reason we're doing this year is obviously we had the storm last summer. There's a lot of volunteer corn out in the fields, so it's not like a terrible issue, but it's enough to kind of make you worry a little bit. There's quite a bit of volunteer corn coming up in our corn on corn stuff. Herbicide's not going to kill that because obviously it has all the resistant traits in it. So we're out here row cultivating it. It's kind of a unique thing. I've never done this before. My dad and uncle have had to do this stuff in the past. And it used to be common back in the day before herbicide became big, you know, in both corn and beans. So I'll kind of show you what we're doing here. So there's no really using auto steer when you're doing this. You're pretty much doing it by the seat of your pants. I pretty much just, once I get it on the row where I want it, I just watch that row most of the time, keep that wheel on the one side of that row and just follow it, check my mirrors occasionally, make sure nothing's getting plowed up, go easy, nice, slow, don't need to get in a rush, just primarily doing our corn on corn stuff that's got bad volunteer corn pressure. Going 3.5 mile an hour, easy going. So there's the cultivator. It's a 3-point mounted, but basically it's just got what would be similar to cultivator sweeps on it. They're a little wider, kind of different design, specific for this use. And it's also got gauge wheels on it, and it's got basically what would be similar to like I wouldn't call it a coulter, but it's just a disc in front of that gauge wheel that kind of helps keep the whole unit in between the row and keep it driving straight. And while doing this, I also have the front wheel assist and the diff locked in, just so I get a nice straight pull. So it's kind of fun doing this. Kind of stressful too. You don't want to come out here and drive over all your corn and tear it all up. So I'm just going easy, following my road, checking my mirrors. Everything's looking good. It's tearing out, doing what it needs to do, cleaning it up. Just gonna keep rolling. It's a good angle. You guys can see the rows behind me. Looks like it's doing a great job. You would know if you messed up because you'd see a row that just looks completely obliterated. I don't even know how to pronounce that word, but you'd see a row that's just completely destroyed or driven over, and that would let you know, like, hey, something's going on. Either you're on a side hill and you're drifting, or you're trying to go around a curve and it doesn't work very well. I think it's doing great. I mean, look at the rows, really cleaning it up. Okay, so I figured while I'm out here, there's a tape measure in the tractor. I'm gonna take some stand counts and kind of check the corn out a little bit. Now, in a previous video, I did some population counts when we were planting, and I gave you guys the wrong measurement to use. So if you saw that, disregard that. The measurement you're supposed to use when doing population, stand counts, whatever, in 30-inch rows is 17 feet 5 inches. Which is exactly 1/1000th of an acre. A lot of you probably already heard that, but for those who don't, 17 feet 5 inches for 30-inch row spacing, which is 1/1000th of an acre, and you count the number of plants and take it times 1,000, and that's your estimated stand. Okay, so you can see I got the tape measure at 17 feet 5 inches right there, and all you do is count the plants across the row. 2, 4, 6, 30, 32, 33, which is pretty darn good. I think we planted at 36,000-ish for population. Shoot, I didn't want that to happen. That's not gonna measure back out, so this doesn't count some more rows. Anyway, I think we planted at 36, so 33. I mean, if you're getting 34, 35, that's really good. So I'm gonna count a couple more rows here and see what else I've got going on. All right, so I just did about 2 or 3 more counts. I got 134, 35, 36. So those were a little higher than the first one. Granted, I did it all in kind of the same spot. If you really wanted to get an accurate estimate, you know, you do several spots throughout the field, on them, average them out. There's some spots that are a little stunted on this field, just a little compaction stuff going on, maybe a little bit of frost stuff. Other than that, majority of the field looks pretty good. So, I mean, I'm not going to go around and walk around and waste another 2 hours trying to figure out exactly what I got for a stand. Just doing this spot here, you know, it is a nicer looking spot. I got anything from 33 to 36, so I mean, I'm probably safe to say I'm in that. You take in the bad spots into consideration, you're probably in that, right at that 33, 34 range, maybe 32. Looking at the crops, let's take a look at that though. Looking at these leaves, there is a little bit of residue burn, which is kind of typical, you know, early in the stages. You know, you got your post sprays going on, went on here about last week. So there's just a little bit of burn from that. Like the new leaves coming in are nice and green. I don't really see much for deficiency. I mean, there might be a little striping in that one, but not much to say that it's any kind of deficiency yet. Now in some of the stunted spots, stuff is a little shorter and yellow, and I think that's primarily due to some compaction stuff. But other than that, I mean, I'm not seeing much discoloration in the leaves. The new leaves coming up will look really nice and green. So yeah, after looking at that, I mean, stuff looks, I mean, it's not perfect by any means because of those spots that are kind of stunted. They kind of came up later than the other stuff, so it's going to be behind the whole time. Some of it might catch up, but if it's going to get shadowed out by other rows, then it's probably not going to do much. But overall, I'd say the field looks pretty good. Shooting for 200 bushels on this field. See what she does. Got a first year farming it, got to set your goal a little low, see what it does. Then you realize where your potential is. Like, oh, is it way under? This is what we need to do to it. Well, it did this. Oh, it did really way better than I thought. So just got to play it by ear to see what happens. That's all you can do. Also look at the row cultivator so you can see we got it in the ground right now. This is basically like a bigger version of a cultivator sweep. Then you got basically what looks like a gauge wheel and a disc, and that just keeps it straight in between the row so it doesn't have trouble swaying back and forth. And this is what I'm doing, just going back and forth. Now this part of the field I'm in isn't so bad. It's the stuff kind of down to the north side. It's got a little more volunteer corn in it, but I'm not gonna turn around in the middle of the field. You have weird turn marks and then you're mashing over corn, so I just figured just follow it all the way down and then just come all the way back and probably end up hitting most of the field anyway. All right, well, it's going pretty good. Nice, easy, and slow. About just over halfway down with the field. Working back to the east side of the field now. The rows are gonna start getting a little shorter as I go because I'm working into a waterway. It's working out, it's going smooth. Just take it nice and easy, not trying to get in a rush. Keep on going. Well, that was kind of a fun experience. Couldn't quite get that much footage, you know, because I was steering. It's hard to take footage and focus on what I'm doing and try to take a video at the same time, but I'm done. I'm all folded up, heading home, on to the next job.